And we begin tonight with an update to breaking news we first brought you at 6 o'clock. New details tonight in a deadly crash in Beech Grove. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Elizabeth Choi. Santa wasn't the only one making deliveries today. Grace United Methodist Church delivered warm meals to people in Johnson County. Storm Track 8 meteorologist Brad Mouser. You know, I said I wasn't going to do it, but I caved and turned the heat on. And in other news, the Indiana Republican Party is looking to reaffirm its definition of marriage. Perfect day to be inside, maybe watching a little bit of the Pacers. You want to have a white Christmas,
Absolutely.
but if you can't have a white Christmas, the next best thing, I'm thinking sunshine and 50s.
I would agree 100% with you there.
And our coverage of the story continues online. Tara, hopefully we'll get to keep some of that sunshine throughout the week.
Yeah, we will, but temperatures are not going to be in the 50s like what we had today. It was just absolutely gorgeous.
You can't have everything. A run to spread awareness about organ donation turned into a very special reunion. Millennials, well, they're either blamed for killing industries or praised for reviving them. And now it appears they've struck again. This time, a new report shows millennials are the saviors of the real Christmas tree industry. We are getting off to a rather rainy, foggy start.
Yeah, it was fog, then we saw the storms coming in, a little bumpy start. We've had better starts to Sunday, I think, before. So.
We have, but we need the rain. While we dealt with storms here yesterday, parts of Tennessee dealt with multiple tornadoes. After days of rain and some clouds yesterday, it's nice to see the sun and some true summertime weather. But the question, and I'm going to toss that over to Brad Mousehart, something tells me it can't last forever, Brad. And also, wouldn't that be weird for him eating himself?
Well, I don't think he's going to eat it. I think he's just going to sit it right there in his foyer.
It's basically cannibalism.
Yeah.
Delicious.
You can see that traffic is green, which means a good thing. A little bit slow. Again, it's rush hour, tens of thousands of cars passing through, so that's to be expected. Before we get started, Patty, what does Stewie think of the new set?
I think he likes it.
He doesn't have the black couch to leave his hair behind. If the parents have to be deported, they'll be reunited before being removed from the country. The National Weather Service did confirm 2 EF1 tornadoes hit, one of them in that same county where those 2 girls lived.
Your pipes froze.
Unfortunately, they did. You know, I got home from work yesterday. I'm hoping to take a shower, maybe wash the makeup off and put some sweatpants on. Not a faucet in my house was working. And, you know, I only have myself to blame. Ella Dixon gave a video deposition. Both the prosecution and defense questioned her.
I'm sorry, I'm not even in the picture.
Well, Dave was mentioning
your voice.
The team will stay at the fairgrounds, though.
The team will stay at the fairgrounds. The prosecutors tell me Hughes received money in some cases, and that's why she faces the additional bribery charges. I spoke with reps from the city market. They say Jumbo's didn't have an aggressive marketing and communication strategy, and they believe that's ultimately what led to the restaurant's demise. Victims were starting their vehicles, and then they were getting out, leaving the keys inside the car, leaving the vehicle unlocked, and heading inside. We're having drinks out here. Cheers. Folks, mine is just water. Maybe not what they're drinking, but I'm just having water. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. Too bad I didn't bring my bathing suit because these kids think it's hilarious when they're splashing me. And you can see from the charred steps leading all the way up to the second level how the fire spread. Now, as that owner just said, fortunately, there were no reported injuries in any of these incidents. However, those suspects still at large. If you have any information that could help police in this investigation, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. I sure look the part, don't I, Brooke? 2 things keeping me from actually flying this thing. The first thing being I have 0 clue how to operate it, and I want you to take a look inside. You can see why. Look at all of these controls, all these buttons. Pretty intense. And then the second thing, and probably most importantly, I get motion sickness like nobody's business. Police say they have 2 people in custody for questioning. They're calling them persons of interest, but say they are not suspects at this time. The crime spree, it all started right behind me here at Speedway in Claremont. One of the suspects, Brown, he died of an overdose before being charged. As for the other suspects, they face a slew of federal charges.
Elizabeth?
Let's say I'm a business owner, for example. Somebody is unfortunately robbing me. I call 911 and my surveillance cameras are capturing it all happen. However, by the time police arrive, the suspect has fled the area. Nobody saw what he was driving or what direction he was headed. That's right. This contest is not about whether the price is right. It's about whether the essay is right. I'm joined here with Tim and his wife, Deanna Railing. Police say he was walking along this road, which is Grand Avenue, when the suspect drove up in a vehicle, got out of that vehicle, pulled out a gun, and just started spraying bullets. According to officials here at the city market, Jumbo's leaving makes one open spot, and they say they're confident it won't be long before it's filled. During his inaugural address, Holcomb said he wanted to hit the ground running. He pointed to the success of the state and said he wants to keep that momentum going. Well, you expect to see the typical things, you know, people selling tropical drinks when you come out here at the Speedway, but we were able to find some really interesting entrepreneurs. Check out these sunglasses, for example. Phil, I know you're going to be jealous back at the station. $5. When a sedan traveling on one of the side streets here went through a stop sign without stopping at a high rate of speed, police say it smashed into that truck. Now, this is still an ongoing investigation. Police are still trying to find clues. You know, there really are, Mike. The red flag on the side of your mailbox, for example, it also serves as a red flag to thieves. If you're training with AJ Klingerman, you're training with a beast.
I won and I'm a world champion. Still feels crazy.
AJ is a jiu-jitsu world champion, co-owner of Indiana Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy in Greenwood.
And grabs me.
And AJ is also teaching tonight's self-defense class.
Being trained, being able to defend yourself makes you more aware of your surroundings. Just paying attention to what's going on could save your life in that kind of scenario.
Like this?
Yes.
Sign me up. It took no convincing to get me into a uniform. One of today's lessons, getting away from an attacker. And then
Come all the way up on top. That's it.
the goal here is not for this training to take the place of guns. It's learning how to defend yourself regardless if you choose to carry or not.
I'm not against guns. I have guns myself. I think that they definitely have their place, but you can't always take a gun in a place. So, you know, at a concert, you need to be able to defend yourself if you don't have your weapon on you.
AJ wanted to offer the free course in light of the mass shooting in Florida that left 17 people dead. Although she doesn't believe self-defense would eliminate tragedies altogether, she does believe it could reduce the number of victims.
Well, you think about the train. There was the shooter on the train over in Europe couple years ago. The guys that stopped them are Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys.
But for today's lesson, you don't need to be a hero to pass. You just need to survive.
I'm not trying to fight back unless I know how to fight back. My job is to get away.
It seemed a little surreal. I've been a firefighter for 16 years, but I never had a gun pointed at me.
As a firefighter, Jeff Petrie faces danger daily, but what he experienced this morning was terrifying, even by his own standards.
I had on half masks, and like I said, they were armed, looked like Glocks, and very aggressively, you know, forced me away from the vehicle.
In his white Hummer, the suspects took off, tossing his phone out of the window. Jeff says he grabbed it and called 911. The next stop in this crime spree, police say landed 3 suspects here inside the Knights Inn Hotel in Seymour. State police released these pics taken from surveillance video early this morning.
We're very much trying to locate these 3 individuals who have now proven they're not capable of living in a free society. And so what's important is getting these 3 people off the street.
But they apparently hadn't terrorized enough. After Seymour, police say they headed to Columbus for a second robbery, this time at Rickers.
We're most concerned about the safety of our employees. Unfortunately, the only thing they got are things we can replace.
From there, they got on I-65 North, police say, leading them on a chase with speeds up to 100 miles per hour. Police used stop sticks, the tires deflated, and at an apartment complex on the city's south side, the suspects ran off. Officers got their canines and police helicopters flew above in search of the 3. And in search of his vehicle, firefighter Jeff also arrived on the scene.
Tough vehicle, I guess. We'll see how it drives after all this. I need to get some new wheels, I guess.
If you live anywhere south of downtown, chances are you've likely done business with Sports Plus in Greenwood. From Southport High School all the way down to Indian Creek, Sports Plus owner Scott Beasley customizes athletic wear, especially for local school districts.
Basically the full gamut of sporting goods, plus we run our own screen printing business in the back, and we run our own embroidery machines.
But there's a pressing issue that has nothing to do with t-shirts. Just feet away from the store is a railroad track that runs across busy Main Street.
There's been days, maybe 3 or 4 days a month, where there is a train that's just stopped on the railroad tracks.
Beasley says he's had to wait sometimes up to 30 minutes for the train to finish passing.
It's frustrating, and you see a lot of people, you know, turning around, pulling around.
More than 10 minutes, though.
Greenwood Mayor Mark Myers has had enough. He's ready to start issuing fines, which would likely go to conductors.
What's my goal is to get their attention to make sure that the dispatcher, wherever he may be, in Louisville or in Indianapolis, they understand, don't block intersections.
The fine isn't a new thing. In fact, according to Myers, it's state law. What is new? Enforcing it.
We need to start enforcing that to let them know we're serious about this. I care about public safety, and I care about the citizens. The only way to do that is to force the railroad to abide by the law.
How's it going?
Back at Sports Plus, Beasley is on board, but won't let it derail his work.
Business as usual. It's an annoyance for me.